Welcome to Spiritual Ambition, where we tune in to awaken our divine nature and explore the provocative inner force compelling us toward our fullest potential. If you've achieved external success but feel a deeper calling, if you're tired of dimming your light to fit in, and you know there's a more powerful way to live and lead and love, you're in the right place. Host Donna is a best-selling author, modern-day high priestess, and catalyst for personal transformation. Together, we're birthing a new paradigm of loving leadership, integrating our humanity with divine wisdom as our individual awakening serves collective evolution. Here's your host of Spiritual Ambition, Donna Bond.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome in. Welcome to Spiritual Ambition. I'm your host, Donna Bond. I'm so happy to have you here. If you are scrolling, now would be such a good time to stop and drop in. Spiritual Ambition is where we tune in to awaken our divine nature. Today, we are going to talk more about navigating the spiral of expansion. Last episode, we explored the spiral and the 4 fields of transformation that are in that spiral. And this week, we're going to do some live coaching and hopefully support you in understanding where you are on the spiral and how you can move yourself forward through the passage that you need to cross to land you into the next field. The discomfort that you're facing, it's not random. It's showing you which field you're in. Today, we're going to talk with Kyla, who is going to come on stage with us and share what's been going on for her, see if she can identify which spiral she might be in. Maybe it's more than one. We want to name our field. We want to cross our passage, and we want to trust our way through. And that's really what this is all about. You know, here when we are tuning in and looking through the spiritual lens, we're accessing a different intelligence. We're accessing our higher wisdom. We're getting ourselves out of our mind because we're so heavily reliant on our minds. And our minds and our egos and our personalities think that they are in charge all of the time. But we have this beautiful inner guidance system, this wisdom-filled knowingness. And all we have to do is create space to allow that to come in, to be present, to get quiet enough and still enough to hear the direction that we are always being given in every moment. Welcome in, everyone. Alexa, hello. Labyrinthian, Criterion. I can never say it right, but I do love that you show up and you're here again and again. Welcome back. It's wonderful to have you. Eileen, hi, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Thanks for saying hello in the comments. Christopher. All right, well, in typical fashion, what we do first here at Spiritual Ambition is we tune in. So wherever you are, unless you're driving a car or operating heavy machinery, let's close our eyes. Let's just take a moment and turn our attention inward, placing our focus on our heart, allowing that silence to be there, feeling the blood course through your veins. Giving yourself permission in this moment to slow down, to not have to do anything, to land yourself into this now present moment. Infinite universe, we call ourselves forward into your loving. We ask to be cleared, filled, surrounded, and protected with the clear white light of living love. We ask that any karma, negativity, imbalance, any irritation, frustration, aggravation, annoyance, any energy or vibrational frequency that is vibrating at anything less than the frequency of divine loving that may be residing anywhere in our consciousness, mentally, physically, emotionally, subconsciously, or energetically. We ask that anything with a resonant frequency less than divine loving be lifted and transmuted at this time, taken to the highest realms of light and sound, and dispersed back into the nothingness. Into this space, we ask for grace, light, love, peace, joy, upliftment, creativity, allowing, original wisdom. We acknowledge and welcome only those divine beings of light that love each one of us unconditionally, that work for the divine plan and work for the light. We welcome only you into our sacred space here today. We ask for your support and assistance in bringing forward healing, revelation, and wisdom of the heart that will resonate most profoundly with each individual here for their highest good and the highest good of all concerned. We are grateful for the opportunity to come together and do this work. For this and more, we say thank you. So be it. Thank you. Welcome. Hi, Bridget, Christine, Kate, Paul Bond. Hello, Kelly Ann, Christopher. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. We have so much power. Yeah, we do. We just have to remember it. So last episode, we looked at the spiral of expansion. Well, before I jump into that, let's do our sacred circle of light before I move past that. We are more powerful than we know, more powerful than we've been taught to believe. And it's just in our intention that we can send upliftment and love and light and prayers and wishes of goodness to anyone that we call our attention to. And so our sacred circle of light is where we name individuals who are perhaps in need of some of our love and our light. And this is one of the most sacred practices that we do together because we all join our hearts and we send this little blessing out and around the world. And sometimes people don't know that we are sending them love and a blessing, but maybe they don't need to know. Maybe there's some receiving that they get to do that sends a wave of joy or light or upliftment through them and to them in a way that they'll never know where and why and how it came, but we know that we opened our hearts and sent this loving. So if there's somebody that you would like to be included in our sacred circle, you can visit spiritualambitionsacredlight.com and you can submit their name and we will hold them in our sacred container. You can drop their name in the chat right now and they will join Celia, Don, Ron, Nicole, Ashley, Meredith, Addison, Bob, Betty, Pamela. Shout out to Nicole. Hello. All right, let's just close our eyes for one moment. And we just send our intentions to everyone who is named, or even if you're holding somebody in your heart, in your mind, that you would like to send light to. Know that they're receiving it. Know that you made a contribution today to somebody's life. Benno says, I think so. We're all connected via spirit and consciousness. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And every time we remember that, and every time we know that, we uplift ourselves and we uplift everybody around us. Sending light to Nicholas, Maria Sharon, thank you. Sending light to Kathy, sending light to Bob, David Weeks, and David Sternfeld, yes. Sending light to Addison and Meredith again. If you just tuned in, Nicole, we already sent light to Ashley, Meredith, Addison, Louis, Marco. Beautiful. Stephen, sending light to Stephen, Kathy. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. It's such an important practice, and it matters more than we believe. All right. Well, if you're feeling stuck between the suffocation of playing it safe and the terror of the unknown, or if you can't tell if you're growing or if you're just going in circles, my intention for all of us today is that you can discover which field you're actually in on our spiral of expansion, so that you can stop spinning and start trusting the way through. And so if you missed episode 25, you can go back and watch episode 25, where we talked all about the spiral of expansion. And just as a quick refresher, we start with what we have as the comfort field. And this is a place that's actually not that comfortable. This is a place where we feel stuck, where we can feel anxiety, where we can feel bored, stagnant, compressed, constricted. And the way that we move out of that is through our willingness. And it's through our willingness that we then enter into the field of the unknown. And the field of the unknown is a place where we are definitely confronting our fears, because we like a little bit more safety. We like a little bit more predictability. We like a little bit more familiarity. And that is just the sign of the ego, wanting safety, security, comfort, and control. And so it's natural that we feel that angst when we are in that unknown field. But I know from firsthand experience that this field is actually one of the most exciting fields, because this is a field of possibility. This is a field of where we're not trapped in what we already know, but we are sort of free falling into what could be possible for us. And so we don't like to always put ourselves into the unknown field, but I happen to believe that it is one of the most important fields for us to cross through, because this is really where we have to confront our fears and our own limitations. And it's in doing so that we transform them. And sometimes, as I witness my clients, everybody always wants to have everything all lined up, right? We want to get all our ducks in a row, and then we're going to feel safe to be able to cross the passage. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't really work that way. And we will then get consumed with spending too much time in the planning instead of making that leap of faith. And when we make that leap of faith, there's a magic elixir that happens. Hello, Mandy. Welcome in. Benno, Angst. high vibration today. My daughter's first day at school. Oh, light to your daughter. Well, she is definitely in the unknown field because she is navigating new friends, new teachers, a new environment, right? That could feel so scary depending on how old she is. Deborah, hello, welcome in. Lovely to have you here. So we make that leap of faith, right? And it's in that leap. I call it in the air of the leap. We're in the air of the leap. And when we're there, suddenly our courage shows up. It is born out of fear because we have courageously propelled ourselves forward. And that courage is what catapults us to the growth field. And the growth field is a really fun place to be because here we can recognize that we don't have to know it all. We don't have to get it right. We don't have to go to school and know everything on the first day. That's why we went. That's why we go, so that we can grow and evolve and learn and change. So here in the growth field, we can give ourselves permission to get it wrong, to fall down, to scrape our knee, to pick ourselves back up and dust ourselves off and keep on going. And when we do that, we build perseverance. We build our commitments. We learn, we develop what eventually turns into as mastery. And the more we do that, that shows up as commitment. And it's that commitment that is going to take us into the success field. So today, we're going to do a little live coaching. And I have one of my dearest clients, friends, acquaintances, Kyla Cruse, who is going to come on stage with us today. And we're going to talk to Kyla about which field she's in, sort of what's going on for her in real life. And we're going to see if we can ground this information for all of you as Kyla courageously shares with us about what's going on for her. So as you listen, actually, before I even bring Kyla on, I want to let everybody know, if you would like your own copy of the Spiral of Expansion, you can download it by visiting Spiritual Ambition Soul Trip with 2 P's, TRIPP.com. Download your Spiral of Expansion at spiritualambitionsoultrip.com. And you can get your own copy and you can see all the nuances that are taking place in each field. I actually have a book coming out about this, which delves even deeper into how to navigate it. It's just one of the things that's on my list. But for now, if that would be helpful for you, feel free to download that and see if you can identify where are you on the Spiral of Expansion. You know, the whole reason behind why I share the spiral is so that you can relax a little bit. You know, we want everything to be linear, and we have this misunderstanding in our mind that there's a clear beginning and a clear end to everything. And I'm here to tell you there's not. As long as we're in these human bodies, we are here in the earth school. And the point of the school, the purpose of the school, the purpose of our epic journey as a spiritual being making our way through this human adventure is to learn, to grow, to evolve. And so everything is about that. Everything. And once we can see our life through that lens, we immediately take ourselves out of the position of feeling victimized by life and believing that life is happening to me. Life is not happening to us. Life is happening through us. And the minute we can see that everything has been divinely orchestrated and set up for our growth, we can see it in a different way. And then we can suddenly empower ourselves. And so I share the Spiral of Expansion with you to give you some confidence in knowing you're not as stuck as you think you are. You might be spinning your wheels and you might have your camera lens zoomed down too close in, and you got to widen that lens, and you got to lift your gaze, and you got to look up, and you have to connect up and remember that you are being guided by a higher knowing, by your higher knowing. I always like to think that my soul has my back. My soul has my back, and it's gotten me this far. So, what would it be like if I could trust even more deeply in knowing that even though my ego might be uncomfortable in this space, my soul knows what it's doing. And so does yours. And so does Kyla's. So, without further ado, I would like to welcome Kyla Cruse to the stage for a little coaching.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yay! Thank you so much for being here. I just want to acknowledge you and the journey that I have witnessed you on. And I know I have seen you go through the spiral of expansion more than once.
Oh, yeah.
And, we're always in it. We're always in it. It's never going to stop. And it's just super helpful to sort of know where we are in it. And it's even more helpful to know sort of what comes next, because that's a way that we can really encourage ourselves to keep going, even when we feel frustrated or stuck or exhausted or overwhelmed. So I just want to acknowledge you and the path that you've walked and the road that you've traveled.
Thank you so much.
Share with us. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here today. Share with us a little bit about what's going on for you today. Like how can we support a shift and some movement?
Yeah, I had a really fun time trying to match which field I think I was in. And I honestly bounced between comfort, unknown, and growth. And I think with the unknown field and getting stuck here, and oftentimes spinning my wheels here and forgetting that I am, in fact, in the spiral. I really resonated with what you said about like wanting to have my ducks in a row and wanting to know like the plan and what's going to happen, and forgetting that it takes the leap of faith and it takes the courage. And I was just having this moment backstage of like talking and being witnessed is a little scary for me. And so this in and of itself is a little bit of a leap of faith. And I was just kind of laughing to myself and just like, the spiral is always going. And personally, I would love to spend a little bit more time in the growth field and get myself into that growth field. And I think, I guess I could use a little support with taking that leap of faith from like a sovereign place and not waiting and relying on other people or having like a codependent need to have others kind of like walk me there or hold my hand and take me there. Just like that, building that courage and taking that leap of faith. That's where I want to work in right now. That's the spot in the spiral that I want to move to.
Amazing. Beautiful. I'm hearing one of my own quotes. Gee, what a surprise. Leadership is a self-appointed position. Yeah. What does that bring forward for you?
It brings forward a sense of calm and like a reclamation kind of that I needed to remind myself of. So I needed to hear that. So thank you. I think I get a lot of times I notice in my energy and I'm looking outside. I'm looking externally a lot. I'm looking for validation. That's a big one, is can I get this validation? Can I hear from somebody else that, oh yeah, you're doing the right thing? Or how do I know that I'm on the right path? Like, how do I get that validation? And a tricky but very rewarding and fruitful path is anytime that I do turn back in and appoint myself as like, okay, I got this, I'm leading, and also kind of give up control, give up and like surrender a little bit. That's when I think I step back into like, okay, I'm in a sovereign place. But I forget that a lot, and I get tripped up in still wanting to hear. I say that my love language is words of affirmation, so I love like hearing affirmation and validation, and like feeling that reflected back to me is like very encouraging. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it's like getting to a place of, even if I didn't have that, can I like give that to myself, kind of thing? Can I cheer myself on? And like, it's hard. There's so many voices. There's so many things that like pull my energy in different directions and make me doubt myself. It's hard when you don't have like the proof too, because I think in my younger stage of life, I don't have a lot of evidence to fall back on of times in my life where like, yeah, I have taken that leap of faith and it's worked out and it's been great. I think I'm honestly at this, like, I'm reaching this point where I sense into like a big leap of faith coming, or maybe a series of leaps of faith coming. And I don't want to let the lack of not having that evidence keep me from taking that leap of faith and like accessing that courage. So if you have any advice for me.
Are you willing to give us more of a real life example of what could potentially look like a leap of faith? And like, as you're in the unknown zone, as you've sort of identified here, knowing that you want to move yourself into the growth zone, bring it home for us. Like, what's really happening for you? Give us some context.
So for context, I graduated college about a year and a half ago. I live at home currently, and I work with my family, which has been amazing and very comfortable. And it has been quite the comfort zone for me for a while. And I've tapped into that unknown field, but I've kind of toggled between these two, I feel like, for the past good chunk of time. And what I would like to get to is a space where I'm more financially independent and sovereign in that area of my life, and stepping into like a little bit more of a creative and entrepreneurship role, even if that's just like a side hustle. Like, there's a part of me that is really wanting to like drive in my own lane and like really just call in some fun opportunities and be a sovereign player in my financial and like career space. Is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is. So with that being said, are there any like dreams in your heart that call you towards, what that might look like?
Well, I do have a dream of, and this is not going to come as a surprise to Donna, but I mentioned that I live at home, which has been a wonderful blessing. And a part of me has been itching to move, and not just move anywhere, but move internationally and kind of have a moment of like an abroad sort of solo travel-esque moment. And funnily enough, I'm really called to Costa Rica, where Donna lives. If anybody in the audience didn't know that, sorry to give that away. And
oh no,
everybody knows. Um, yeah, so I think to me that represents like, I mean, that's a pretty clear leap of faith, leaving the nest and going somewhere new. And it's like literally uncharted territory for me in a
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So let's look at the little fears that are maybe hiding in the corners, lurking in the darkness. You know, what comes up for you? Like, if I were to make that leap of faith, what could happen? What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, the worst that could happen is that I hate it. I move, I get sad, depressed, fall into a little bit of a hole, resent the decision, get stuck. That's always a fear. And I know that we're talking about moving through stuckness, so that's an important thing for me to remember. But yeah, I guess I fear that it's sort of just the idea of it all and like the dream of it all, and that's what like, it's like the grass is always greener kind of thing. And arriving there, what if it's not? What if it's not that? What if that's not? What if I didn't? What if I made the wrong move?
Yeah.
And I guess then it's just, yeah, you can, there's always a way to.
Do you have any evidence of that? Like, do you have evidence in your life making the wrong move in the past?
Yes. What comes to mind in this case, so in college, I started experiencing more anxiety and depression and a couple of like health things, which Donna is aware of. And I was studying abroad my junior year, and I sort of, at this time in my life, was just wanting something else externally to be the thing that was going to come in and like change my state and like kind of save me in a sense. And so I thought that study abroad, like I was just going to be a new person. Everything was my body was going to heal. Like everything would be perfect. And I confronted a lot on study abroad. I actually was having panic attacks, and I was not doing well. I hit kind of a low, and I learned so much about myself through that whole experience. And I wouldn't take it back, but it was hard. It was tough. And it was.
Well, you just said something so important though, right? Like, I learned so many things about myself and I wouldn't take it back.
Yeah.
Anything that you can recall right now that you learned about yourself?
What comes to mind is I can do hard things, which is like a quote that I love to come back to, or I guess a mantra that I love to come back to when I don't have answers. It's just I can do hard things. And I said I don't regret it, but would I want to go relive it? Not necessarily, no. So I think that that's where this fear comes up again, is repeating that. Even though I know I can do hard things.
What if it were easy?
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that would be willing to view it in a different way?
Yeah. I think the part of me that wants to view it in a different way is the part of me that is good at surrendering and not having the answers and letting it be an adventure, which not all of me likes to do. There's a very real part of me that likes the control and likes to know.
Man, I hear you.
Yeah, I know. But when that part of me shows up, the like ego-y kind of control part of me, it's like I need to put like a post-it note in my brain that's like, there's another way. There's another way. Don't forget, because I do forget. But there is a part of me that I think the way that ease shows up is letting go. It's just kind of surrendering and enjoying the process as hard as that can be sometimes, like enjoying the process of, that's what you were saying though, the unknown is exciting. And it is kind of this, like if when I put on my like explorer hat, when I remember to, and I'm like, okay, I'm not like a guide, but I'm an explorer right now, then it becomes fun.
On that. I got the chill. I put on my explorer hat. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Like that's a whole different framework. When I put on my explorer hat. Okay. So put on your explorer hat right now.
Okay.
I hope you're getting a visual of it, because I'm getting a visual of it. It's a little goofy, but I love it. It's got these big goggle things on the top of it. So you have your explorer hat on.
Mm-hmm.
How might you view differently this dream in your heart to once again live perhaps in a foreign country?
Mm-hmm. Well, as an explorer, what's exciting is that I'm not stuck anymore. Like I can move and go somewhere, even if it's like, even if it is unknown, I'm moving, which is exciting. I'm not stuck. I'm not stuck in the quicksand anymore. So movement.
Yeah, I want to reflect to you the importance of that. And like, this is just so brilliant that you're bringing that forward, because we can have a tendency to like experience inertia, right? Where we're just paralysis is setting in because we don't know what to do. But the answer is to just take a step.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I hear you saying. And maybe this is where we match a little of the surrender, that one step we don't have to hold so tight to what it's going to be or what it's going to result in or what we want to attach to it. But we're just taking one little step, and now we're not stuck anymore.
Yeah, I think about it too and you mentioned the nervous system in the last episode, and I come back to like thinking about like grounding things back into the body, like grounding my experiences back into my body when things feel really like chaotic. It's like, okay. And I think you said this last time too, but it's like, I always have my breath. At the very least, I can take a breath right now and like feel 1 ounce lighter. And that's such a gift. And I lost my train of thought, but hold on.
You have the explorer hat on, and you were recognizing that
grounding it into the body. Yes, grounding it into the body. So rather than looking at the whole thing of like, I'm going to uproot my life and go somewhere completely new, and this is really big and scary, and it might be easy to like dream about, but like the prospect of doing that is like too much for my nervous system. But the one step thing, it's like just chip away one thing, like just any ounce in that direction is good for today. Like just taking one step rather than looking at it as like I got to tackle the whole thing in one go.
Yeah.
Cause that's too scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like the one step. And then that's one step further into the unknown and one step of like uncharted territory that now becomes charted territory in a way. So
say more about that.
I think that, and I'm looking at the spiral of expansion. So unknown, and I know this firsthand, there's a lot of lack of confidence. And that is often a thing that is something that keeps me stuck. But what builds confidence is taking just the babyest of steps. And it is often and usually always so fruitful and so just exciting too, even if it's not super fruitful. But those little now too, I'm thinking of it as like steps lead to leaps, which become the leap of faith. So that's exciting. But I think the steps are what can help prepare, or what start to build confidence and start to transform from like a state of lack of confidence to a state of like a little bit more confidence. And then the confidence kind of builds momentum, which then eventually allows that leap to be taken, or maybe just the steps one day add up and you're like, whoa, I took a leap. Like I didn't realize that. And I often forget to do that, like forget to look back and be like, whoa, look how far I've come. Look what
Yes. Well, you're reading my mind right now, because I wanted to ask you if you can identify any steps that you have taken recently that you would be willing to acknowledge yourself for.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is there's like steps that are more, I think, in my little sphere, like that happened in my energy, I guess. And then there are like steps in the material physical world that I think happen too. And the first thing that comes to mind is like allowing myself to want what I want and to like be like, yeah, I do have a dream, and like to let myself kind of take that seriously and not like be like, okay, but this, and this, and this, and make excuses, which is in the unknown sphere over here. That to me is like one step is like, okay, this is what I want, and like own it and feel
Love it.
like I back myself on that. Like I am allowed to want this, even if it never happens, but like I am going to get to the space where like I'm allowed to want this for myself. I'm allowed to dream. And I had something else to go with that. Maybe it will come back. And then there are steps in the real physical world that get to be taken too. And I think, so for context for the audience, I did actually get to visit Costa Rica last week, and I got to visit Donna, and it was amazing. Like it was truly such an amazing trip. And when I look back at why I think that is, I'm going to try to remember this quote that I heard recently, but it's luck is a combination of preparation and opportunity. And so like a part of me maybe is like, wow, like we were so lucky to get to like experience all these like things that just felt so magical. It just felt like luck was just like on my side last week in a lot of ways. And then when I look back, I also remember like the preparation that has gone into being able to have met those opportunities and to have like taken some opportunities. Like, for example, we had a lot of really expansive conversations and that were really beautiful and really amazing to be a part of. And a lot of times, like, I like to take a back seat and I like to kind of listen and I like to observe and I like to be a fly on the wall, especially when I'm the younger one or the less experienced one. And yeah, like I have excuses or things that come up in my mind that make me think like, oh no, it's okay. Like, I don't need to contribute in this case, or I can just kind of take a step back and watch and listen. But last week I felt a little shift where I was pitching in and contributing and using my voice, which can be scary for me sometimes. And it was scary at times, but it was also the exact leap of faith that I think I needed to take to build a little bit of that confidence and to realize, wow, yes, I'm in a different place than I was studying abroad 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever that was. And blessings to that girl who did take that leap of faith and who went there and didn't quit. Like, she did the hard thing. she and I'm talking to myself. I did the hard thing and it was definitely not a waste. And like I said, I wouldn't take it back. And I think just synthesizing everything right in this moment right now, I think that was the exact experience I needed to have to be able to now like pick back up the reins and be like, okay, let's try this again from a much different place, from so much more like experience and wisdom and confidence that has now been built after and since and through lots of little steps and little leaps and little things that are like gearing me up and getting me excited to take another stab at a big leap, like moving internationally.
Yes. You mentioned some of the gifts that you garnered from that time that you would be taking with you, but in the spirit of that validation, right? And in the spirit of coming back to being able to recognize and to validate yourself. And in that recognition, you're building trust, right? You're building self-trust because now you're not abandoning yourself. You're not sort of yourself to the curb. So what else are you taking with you? What are the other gifts that would support you in this new leap that you're imagining?
I think one thing that's coming to mind is having a little bit more lightness around the experience. And I think, like I mentioned last time, it was like, this is going to be the thing. This has to be the thing that like changes my life and changes my health and changes my happiness and blah, 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 blah. And I think the gift maybe that I'm taking now is having like a lightness and less grip around it and more curiosity around the experience and like all that could come out of this. Yeah, so I think the gift, I'm trying to think of like what that is in a word, but lightness is what comes to mind, just less gripping on.
I love this, Kyla. I mean, that's the word, right? And when we bring that lightness to any challenge, or we bring that lightness even to a fear, right? Because we have to recognize that the majority of the fears that we're having are runaway trains in our mind, right? I like to say dreaming up a drama. That's what we're doing. We're dreaming up a drama that isn't really happening, right? Like in this moment, you're fine, you're safe, you're whole. And we forget that. So bringing that lightness, I love it. Like, that's awesome.
What just came to mind too was having the gift of knowing when it's time to like take a breath, when it's time to ground, when it's time to like come back into the body, versus and like come inward. Because I think in the past, if I had a moment of like panic or this is going wrong, then I let that spiral. I didn't know how to like just hold myself in that and be okay with that and meet myself there. And a lot of times that has led to like further spiraling. And I think with age, with experience, I've learned how, like, what do I specifically need that makes me feel better? Like, what little comforts can I give myself? And what, like, when can I just like allow myself like a timeout kind of in a good way? Like, for example, last week, there was one day where I was feeling exhausted. We were doing a lot of things. I'm not used to the climate, and I was hitting a low, and I was kind of starting to beat up on myself a little bit about it because I'm only here for less than a week. I want to really juice out the whole experience. I want to be outside. I want to be doing this, and this. I want to keep going. And I was like really feeling this call, like, okay, I need 1 hour. I need 1 hour where I'm going to go completely check out. I'm literally going to go, it's daylight. I'm going to give myself 1 hour and I'm going to lay in my bed and I'm going to watch a show and I'm just going to check out. And it was like setting that time too around it instead of being like, I'm going to go spiral now. It was like, here's my 1 hour to just
love this. Like guardrails.
Yes, guardrails. Exactly. And like kind of having that authority with myself of like, I'm going to like, it's okay. Like you can do this, but I'm also going to call you back in and we're going to like reemerge with the group.
I love this, Kyla.
Yeah, we're going to keep going. But I see you and I hear you and you need a moment. Like you got to go take a moment. And it was exactly the right move. It was exactly what I needed. We had the most amazing rejoin for dinner, like amazing conversation. That was one of the conversations that I was mentioning earlier. That was so expansive, but what allowed me to like show up and be a more like energized, expansive version of myself that was like open and wanting to connect was because I didn't like force myself to keep going. Like I listened to like the little clue. And there's like, that's one thing that I really want to carry with me through these like uncomfortable changes and leaps and steps is like remembering to tune in and like listen. Because if there's one thing I've learned, like the body speaks and the body knows. And if you can listen to that intuition, like oftentimes it's going to make you feel better.
It's going to make me feel better.
And it wasn't like a failure. That was the thing that I had to kind of, that I've learned looking back, I think giving myself those moments of grace instead of thinking of like anything that's not movement or not success as like failure or stuckness. It's like, no, this can be part of the journey too. And this is important. Yeah.
You're getting all kinds of accolades in the chat. Kim, saying that's why it's so important to do what you need at the moment, regardless of anyone's opinion. Karen said, good for you. Checking out is self-care. So you're getting all this affirmation. And what I'm really present to is the wisdom that is through you. And that certainly looks like some gold nuggets that you garnered from the last journey that you took, right? So the way of being with yourself, Kyla, is really lovely. I hear you saying, like, I'm going to do these things for me, and I'm putting some parameters around them. Like, I'm not going to just go spiral off into the never land and like be in this place of unproductive, self-sabotage. But I recognize, like, oh, I do need a timeout right now. And so I'm going to give myself that for an hour. Amazing. Yeah. Would you believe we are already at the end of time, right? We like get together in that vortex and
wow.
I have one more question for you, and then we're going to do the celebration of Love's Alchemy, and we're going to close our space. And I know we started 1 minute later, 2 minutes later today, everybody. So you know how I'm attached to my 2:22 p.m. Pacific time. But Kyla, if there is one little tiny tangible step, and I'm not even saying that you have to take the step, but what is an idea that you have around one little tiny potential step that you could take to move yourself forward?
Great question. Thank you, Benno. I see the comment. You can do it, Kyla. Thank you. I think in the spirit of like taking my dreams seriously, sharing this with more people in my life, like sharing this and having conversations around this and where I can be open and honest about, like, here's what I don't know. And here's where maybe I can ask for your sage advice. Or just share that, like, this is what I'm dreaming and what are you dreaming? But also just letting it get out there and breathe, and letting that be an act of like believing in myself, I think.
Letting that be an act of believing in myself. How does that feel inside of you? Believing in
it feels really warm and good and expansive. And I feel, you guys, I feel really great after taking this leap of faith and being on this show and sharing and being here. So it feels good to move.
I want to acknowledge you for coming back around to that. And I want to recognize your courage and your willingness in being heard, being seen, being vulnerable, sharing with honestly about where you're at in the world. And, let us know in the chat if anything Kyla said resonates inside of you. I bet that almost everybody who's listening could find something in what you shared that feels resonant within them. And I know that through your sharing, you've helped other people sort of have their own awarenesses about their own life. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been such a pleasure.
Yeah, well, stay with us. We're going to here in a moment, but I just, the celebration of Love's Alchemy is one of my favorite things, because this is a gentle pause where we recognize the extraordinary magic that is woven through our everyday lives. In every episode, we take just a moment of loving celebration for something that might seem ordinary or even contrary at first glance, but it holds within it a spark of brilliance as we celebrate and remind ourselves why we chose to take a body and come here to human land. So everything from the sweetness of a juicy orange to the blessing of an emotional trigger, we turn our attention to the less obvious causes for celebration, for the little things that we might be taking for granted. And through our loving appreciation and our gratitude for all of it, we uplift ourselves and our vibration with the power of love, sending ripples of good juju out and across the planet. We are alchemists of upliftment, and we can turn the seemingly mundane into marvels of magnificence as we see the whole human experience as the alchemy of our wisdom. So, I select these things before the show, and they come to me intuitively as I'm sort of putting the framework together. And today we are bringing our love to the courage to be seen.
Of course.
So, spirit winking at you, Kyla. This is absolutely spirit winking at you, because it takes raw bravery and courage to come on stage and to be witnessed in our struggle, to let others see you in, the mess of not knowing, and the willingness to be vulnerable, which really is where true transformation lives in our lives. So I acknowledge you and thank you for being here. Our next show on February 10th, we are going to be interviewing Maria Brophy about her new book, which is called COVID, A Love Story. And she's going to share with us the remarkable and extraordinary story of her husband's near-death experience while he was on the other side in a medically induced coma for, I forget off the top of my head, like 70 days or something incredibly profound. The fact that he has not only lived to tell about it, but he is in a place where he is thriving in his life. And Maria wrote this amazing book. And we're going to talk heart to heart with Maria and all of the passages that she had to cross on her spiral of expansion. So don't miss out on February 10th. That's going to be a really great, interesting show. In this moment, I want to close our space. I'm going to ask everybody to just close your eyes. Wherever you are on your spiral of expansion, know that it's the perfect place. Know that all around you are opportunities for growth, for learning, for expansion, for falling down and getting back up, for developing resilience and perseverance, for taking stock of your gifts, of your inner knowingness, of your deep breath of experience that you have garnered in your life. Know that all of it is on purpose. None of it is by chance. It's all guiding you home to yourself, to your loving, to your true authentic self. We are now closing all energetic lines of communication between any of us, closing all open portals, gateways, channels, agreements, and lines of communication between any of us and the spirit world. We are so grateful for the opportunity to come together and do this work. For this and more, we say thank you. I am now closing our show today with love, in love, for love, by love, as love. I'm Donna Bond. You're watching Spiritual Ambition. Kyla, love you. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you, everyone who joined us live. Charlene, Naya, Benno, Anna, Kim Princess, come back again. Thank you. Nancy, Michael Zinn, Heart Throbs, shout out to you. Kelly Brickle, thank you for all that you do. Sending blessings of healing grace to you. Thank you, Joe, Nita, Kay Weezy, Dolores, Tobin, Christine. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nicole. Bye now.
Bye.